Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Soul Seekers podcast, where we believe that hunting has the power to transform lives through primal adventure as we share our mission of mentorship is conservation. To learn more about everything we do, check out our show on Carbon TV or go to soulseekersnation.com. Freedom on, everybody, and stay soulful. If you want to take your shooting experience to the next level, then check out Coltac gear for 100% made in America products. Coltac manufactures specialty gear designed for long-range shooting, hunting, and other tactical applications. From their support bags, suppressor covers, shooting mats, and a whole lot more, Coltac is creating tough, durable, and innovative gear for both civilian and professional markets. Go to coltac.com to see all that they have to offer. That's cole-tac.com. If you are looking to get a new rifle or build your own, look no further than Kelbley's. Kelbley's actions and rifles have a higher level of accuracy and hold 92 world records set on either one of their rifles or rifle actions. Whether you're looking for an ultralight mountain rifle or wanting to compete in precision rifle shooting, Kelbley's has you covered. Go to kelbley.com to find out more or give them a call as their customer service is the best. That's KELBLY.com. Kelbley's. If you're looking to take your hunting to another level, there's no better way to do it than by subscribing to onX Hunt. If you want to get better at hunting and go deeper into your scouting, onX is the #1 GPS app for that. Join the millions of hunters who trust onX Hunt to find more game, discover new access, and hunt smarter. If you want to know more about onX, go to onxmaps.com/hunt or download their app today for a free trial. If you are wanting to become more accurate and deadly with your shooting, one of the best things you can do is upgrade your trigger with a Timney. Timney triggers are 100% made in America and have been since their founding, providing a crisp, reliable, and repeatable trigger break every time. I'll be shooting Timney triggers in my guns this year, and I hope you'll join me in shooting the world's finest trigger. Go to timneytriggers.com to get yours today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Soul Seekers podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Mack, and today's episode is one that I'm really excited to bring to you. This is a guest that I met a couple years ago at the Western Hunt Expo in Salt Lake City, Utah, and he is a guy who just stood out to me. There's one of the things that if you go and you start meeting people and going out in society in this world, that certain, I don't know, whether it be souls, ironically, this is a Soul Seekers podcast, souls, personalities, or just how people show up in this world, it resonates. And our guest today, Matt Rege out of California, also known as the Outdoor Athlete, is here to talk about his story, his journey, and how he is bettering his life through the outdoors. So without further ado, our guest, man of the hour, Matt, how you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me, dude. I'm so happy that we finally got to get on together. It's going to be a good time. We're going to have some good knowledge, some good soul seeking and all that good stuff.
Heck yeah. So, brother, when you heard the Soul Seekers podcast was reaching out to you, now whether or not you've heard of my brand or content or any of that, the name Soul Seekers, what does that bring up inside you? What do you feel like we're going to be talking about?
It just kind of like gives me flashbacks of when, it went straight to hunting, obviously. So it like just gives me it made me like reflect on hunts like right away. So I was like, oh, like this one is like, made me think about this hunt and then this hunt, how like the perseverance, like all that hard work, all the good stuff, the reward and all that, what you find out about yourself, especially with me mostly being a solo hunter, like the stuff you find out about yourself while you're in the wilderness and that you can't really find like that I would have, in my opinion, be in, say, like a city or something.
Yeah. I cannot stand going to the cities nowadays, and I don't know. Maybe it's because most of them are liberally run, and I don't feel safe. Like I always feel safe because I can handle myself, but like
Yeah.
the whole concept of like you have to watch your back in the city just doesn't sit well with me. I love being in the country. I love feeling freedom, and I love space. Like get me to some space where I'm not gonna be seeing the concrete jungle. So, brother, what's your history with hunting? Where are you from? Where do you hail from? And who got you into hunting?
Yeah. So I'm recently stuck down here in SoCal, trying to transplant maybe Utah, Idaho, or Montana at some point. I was actually talking to Tim from Clean Freak today, and he's like, "What's it gonna take for you to move up here?" And I was like, "Dude, send me like a full blown like offer, or anybody else sends me an offer." He's like $10, and I'm like, "I'm on my way." So like the minimalist thing will get me to move. But I'm down here in SoCal. I only started hunting in 2016, which was like a crazy, 30-year-old choice to make. And I started off that just from a business partner working in the movie industry. He would take me dove hunting, and it was kind of cool and all. And then I started being a bull rider, so I was riding bulls, and I met some like professional bull riders, and they're like, "Oh, we deer hunt," and I was like, "I definitely want to try that," and then just fell in love ever since.
Oh man. Okay, so how old were you when you went dove hunting and then deer hunting?
I had to have been probably 29 dove hunting, and then yeah, 30 when I started riding, started hunting. So that was probably 2016, I guess.
And how old are you?
I'm 39.
Yeah, so you've been in the game less than 10 years. That's
Yeah,
that's
9 years.
and that's one of the things I did not know about you, but that resonates with our podcast even more because our mission statement is mentorship is conservation. If you want hunting to last for generations to come, you got to invest in the hearts and lives of other people. And your life, without me speaking for you, and you can jump in, but I'm assuming was transformed through hunting. Like the minute that you experienced it, you're like, oh yeah, this is where I want to be. And it took a simple, hey, would you like to come? That's it.
Yeah, and it seems like it was like all put together. Why am I riding bulls? Like I'm being a bull rider, and then I met this guy. He was super cool. Took me hunting, and it actually transformed my life in like a worse way because I missed the deer my first year, and I was just like, bloody heck, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it
devastated.
really, once I actually dove deep into like the first year, decided to get a bow because I could find out I could hunt earlier. Got a rifle, ended up hunting like a lot solo and learned it. That's the point did change my life that, I found out, man, I could work hard, be successful, and all that stuff will like eventually align if I put in all the work. So
Mhm.
that first year definitely did change my life. And it didn't take long to realize I was like, oh, I'm gonna hunt forever.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, one of the things that I find really fascinating, especially with newer hunters and talking about hunting mentorship or recruiting new hunters, is this idea of like everyone wants to shoot big game when they think hunting, right? Like you see this picture of this elk on my wall and you're like, "Oh dude, that's awesome. I want one of
Mhm.
those." Or big antlers or whatever. When you got taken dove hunting your first go out, did it not really resonate with you that much?
No, because I always thought of it as like a beer drinking sport, pretty much, because all the people I would go with were like older gentlemen, guys from like Quells Unlimited, like the organizations, and just an older crowd. Like me being 29, 30, all the dove hunters I was going with were like, 45, 50. So
Mhm.
we would get together some early mornings and dove hunt. And I just never have been that sit still type of brain.
Yeah.
So me to sit there and wait for the doves to fly to you was never really my thing. It's why I'm like not like super keen on fishing either, because you're just kind of sitting there with the rod most of the time. Like obviously people may roast me for the technique stuff. They're like, oh no, you could spin it and stuff. But I also like to see the game and 5 miles away and be like, now it's me versus you. So
Yeah.
doves, you see them in the 80 yards away, and it just never was my thing. It was fun. A little segue. I haven't dove hunted probably in 8 years. But if I could get some buddies to go to the Colorado River and dove hunt, I definitely would. But ever since archery season is the same time as dove hunting, we're going to chase deer.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I actually experienced my very first dove hunt this last year, and it was a slow morning. And I shot one. I shot at two birds. I missed my first. I hit my second. I haven't gotten a whole lot of shotgun practice lately, and I was like, okay, well, I'd really love to shoot something way bigger because that I ended up giving my dove to the other people who I was with because I didn't even have enough like for a meal. And at that
Yeah.
point, it was like, okay, this is fun, but when you get into them, that is like phenomenal when it's just
Oh
like
yeah.
they're all over.
yeah, I know guys that go Colorado River and they shoot hundreds, and I was like, hey, maybe it's a good time,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just a kind of confliction with archery season, so I'd rather chase some deer.
Yeah. So when you decided to become a hunter, what did you give up? Did all other passions and like hobbies get backburnered and is like I'm diving head in, or what's your story on that?
Yeah, man. So I was a really good dirt bike rider, not like pro or anything. All my best friends are pro enduro, off-road Baja racers.
Hmm.
So I kind of gave that up. I was at the point where I was really fast. Like I was training with Red Bull moto guys. Like we were out, riding, riding, riding. And ever since I found hunting, it would be, hey, you want to ride this weekend? Man, it's hunting season. Like
Yeah.
I got I got this itch to go try to fulfill this thing I'm not good at. So
Yeah.
I wish I would have like maybe had time to do. I did do both for a while, like one rode more when it was off season, but then I started thinking, well, man, if I'm racing and I get hurt, hunting season's a month away. I can't really hurt myself, so let me slow it down. And then when you're slowing it down, it's not as fun.
Yeah.
Typically, like I still ride. I'm gonna go ride up in after UTV takeover, we're gonna go ride up in Salt Lake.
Oh,
But I still ride sometimes. Just guiding season's coming up. I'm staying off the bike because I have no control.
yeah. Now, when you say guiding season, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I'm guiding elk hunts again this year in Montana and Arizona. So I'm doing archery season, early rifle, and then Montana rifle.
Yeah. What's your story on becoming a guide after only hunting not that long, right?
Yeah, so it's Instagram, man. These people were looking for a guide. They found my Instagram through somebody I had met at the expos. I think it was somebody I met when I was with the in the Muley Freak booth helping them out. They met me. They posted on Instagram. They were looking for a guide. They forwarded my info, seen all my stuff, and were like, "That's the guy
Yeah.
that we want," and they really just called me and asked me all my experience and asked me if I was arrogant. And I was like, nah, I'm cool, like so and so yeah, I went up there and ended up getting two bulls. um had a couple clients, and then now I have like nine clients this year.
That's so cool. Good for you. What At what point on your journey did you feel like you knew how to hunt? Right?
I
Like
still don't know,
yeah,
man.
I feel the exact same way. Like but here you are guiding other people. And this is the whole point of when I talk about mentorship of hunting is you don't have to know it all. You just need to know how powerful and life transforming hunting is and then give that away to somebody else. Right? Like
Yeah.
and everyone's like, "Oh, well, I don't know that much. Oh, I don't It's like stop letting your fear dictate your actions, right?
I'm never like a no guy. So, when they invited me up to guide, I'm like, hey, like I can, you know, harvest animals myself. I'm not too sure about like this part. I'm good with people, and it ended up, it worked out. So it's weird because I don't really like to hunt myself with people. Like I will walk you through the steps. I'll help you apply for tags. I'll tell you spots. I'll, take you scouting. But as far as like when I'm hunting, like I was bear hunting this weekend here in California, our season open. So I was bear hunting with a bow. I just like to go by myself. But it's weird because I love guiding people. I don't know if it's probably the money fact of it, but it's also the elk, right? The elk fact of it. So like if I was guiding somebody on deer, I'll be honest, I probably wouldn't be I mean, I'd be excited, but not as much as elk.
Yeah.
Like, because technically I'm hunting elk through them.
That's what I was just about to say. That's one of the biggest things is like if you want to hunt animals and you want to get really good at hunting, then guide other people because you get to hunt. You're just not squeezing the trigger, right? Like you're
Yeah.
calling that animal in, you're locating, you're tracking, you're trailing, you're doing everything you need to. You're just not the one sending the arrow or the bullet down range.
Yeah. I tell everybody too is, say if some states you probably get an elk tag every 3 years, like a good one. And maybe you're successful every 3 years. So, you know, you get 1 year experience every 3 years. So, 5 years could take you 15 years of experience.
Hmm.
I have 9 clients this year. That's kind of 9 years I'm going to get in one little season of training with these people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're able to, learn a lot more as yourself and like how to deal with people way faster than people that are just hunting.
Interesting. So tell me about this bull riding deer hunt experience that you said you went on your very first deer hunt and you ended up missing, and that haunted you more than anything else. And then how long did it take you to actually, notch your first tag on a big game animal?
Yeah, so when I was bull riding, this guy he used to ride bulls professionally, PRCA and stuff, and super cool guy. He has a big ranch. He's like now developed into team roping, which is like a type of rodeo sport for people that don't know. He was super cool. He has like a bunch of horses, so we would take the horses and we'd go shed hunt, on horseback. And yeah, we ended up getting a tag, and I didn't have anything. I had maybe some, not so high end camo. I had this awful backpack, no frame. Could have been like a JanSport backpack. I don't know. I borrowed my dad's like 30-06. It might have been semi-auto rifle. I don't know. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't hit the deer because we were like 4 miles in and I had no experience like really packing out at that time. So
Hmm.
I'm kind of glad we didn't because it would have been
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah.
No training and stuff. So I ended up missing that deer. He ended up getting a buck maybe that year. So I had some experience packing out and stuff. And I don't like to not be good at something.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm still not can't say that I'm great at it compared to for my last season hunting for myself, but I just dove deep. I was watching podcasts. Like I said, I ended up getting a bow because I was like, oh, I could hunt in California a month earlier with the archery tag. So I got a bow. I ended up getting like a better rifle. Got like the standard 308 rifle.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then he went with me a couple times the next year, and then he just kind of was rodeoing. So I just was, well, I'm gonna go by myself. I watched a bunch of like skinning videos and quartering videos, and I ended up, since I had a bow, I ended up spotting some does. Um, yeah, how'd that story go? Yeah, I ended up spotting some does, and I was like, well, since I'm archery hunting, there's no bucks with them. Let me try to sneak up on them,
Yeah.
try to get some experience. I was like, the wind's kind of good. So I sneak up on them. I get within 50 yards, and I
Hmm.
look under a tree, and there's a deer. I could see an antler laying in the ground, like his antlers in the ground.
Yeah.
And I was, oh, that's a buck. And I was like, man, hopefully he stands up and feeds the way his like body is facing. And he stood up and fed right out. And I shot him at 60 yards with a rifle.
That's
Yeah, and then I
awesome.
was by myself, so I said, man, I better
Yeah.
learn how to skin this thing up and stuff. Yeah, and then that's kind of where I was like, I'm the best there ever was. I'm the greatest. Nobody else. I was stopping trucks. Look at this buck I just shot. And
Yeah.
um, yeah, ever since then I had an itch. So then, not to dive too far into stories unless you wanted to,
No,
but
share it, man.
the following week we get 2 tags in California. The following week there's a local zone by my house, and I was like, since I'm the best ever, obviously hunter now, I'm gonna go hunt, right by my house. And I hike into this area. I'm like, oh, it's kind of roadless. Let me see what's going on. And I'm walking in, and there's a buck just standing there, and I shoot. He's like 100 yards. I shoot and miss, and I was like, wow. So I go. I'm like, whatever. Like he kind of trotted and stopped, and I shot and just, I don't know, probably blew myself over more than him. So I went back to the truck, hiked back in, and was like, he should be down which way he ran. So I got to this hill, and I spotted him down at 200 yards away. And then I was going to sneak up on him, and these does were coming in like on the trail I came in and spook them. And I was like, oh, they're going to stand him up and take him with. And then they went right by him. He stood up, went, stopped at 200 yards, and I shot him the following week with the rifle.
Wow, that's awesome.
So
That's
then I
awesome.
was like, I am the best. Like clearly I'm the best. 2 bucks 1 week. First in a half, 1.5 years.
That
the first time hunting, you know.
that doesn't happen very often. Were those blacktail or mule deer?
Mule deer. I have yet to shoot a blacktail. I'm not a big fanatic of the season and stuff, man. Like a big mule deer just excites me.
Yeah, that's actually one animal I've yet to be successful on a hunt. I would hunt the state of Washington before I moved to Texas for mule deer, and I saw a lot of bucks, but no legal bucks,
Mm.
and it was a frustrating one. I'd see legal bucks out of season, and then as soon as the season show up, gone, and I'm like, doggone it! All right, where are these suckers at?
Yeah, I've shot a lot of mule deer. I think I've shot 10. 10? I think I've got 10, maybe. Can't remember. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm at like 10. I got like a black bear, a hog, some javelinas. That's about it. But a lot of mule deer.
I love it. I love it. Well, so talk a little bit about your journey. Before we started hitting record, you told me that you just gave up drinking 2 years ago, and no more alcohol, which I really commend you on. And a lot of people struggle with alcoholism, right? So
Yeah.
what's the story on not drinking? Is it because you want to be better for yourself in the woods, bit better just in general, or what's the story behind that?
Yeah. So yeah, it was about 2 years. Yeah, August 6th, 2 years ago. So a little bit over 2 years. I never drank that much like before. It was probably, maybe once every 3 weeks if I would go out.
Yeah.
Um, I started diving deep into like health and like, I was running, 7, 8 miles every Monday, working out and stuff like that. And, you know, to go back to when I shot the deer, I was like, oh, I'm the best ever. Well, when I drink, I was always the best ever. I had this ego.
Mm,
I would regret things. If a guy, wanted to fight me, I'm fighting him. Like it was just kind of this stuff. And then, finally I was kind of a dick to this girl that I liked. And I was just like, the next day I was just like, that's not who I am. Like, I'm such a nice person. I don't want people to ever think that's the way or like the person I am just because like I'm fun when I was drinking, but if I was just wanted to be a jerk, I would. And, I was just like, yeah, that's it for me kind of thing. So it was actually like been more than 2 years, but I was at an archery shoot and I was really thirsty. So I just chugged like a high noon real quick just because I was so thirsty. So that kind of started the 2 years. But yeah, man, I'd still love to get like a non-alcoholic, beer at dinner and stuff. It's just I choose just not to be drunk. And I'm not saying I'll never drink again. Like, say if Luke Bryan's like, let's chug a beer. I'm chugging a beer. I'm not gonna not, chug a beer, but I'll never be drunk again. I'm just kind of more focused on other things, and I lost a lot of friends just not drinking. I'm not as social anymore, but I hang out with like a lot more deer and elk now, so
yeah.
that's kind of a good trade.
It's really interesting when you cut certain things out of your life, what it does to your friend circles. And it's like, okay, well,
Yeah,
were we only friends because we would drink, a case of beer on a weekend together? Like that was, you were drinking
yeah,
buddies, you
yeah.
know, rather than, hunting buddies or work buddies or, like I have a guy who I used to teach with. We joked about how we were best friends Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Like Monday through Friday, we were best friends, always talking, chatting. But as soon as weekends hit, like, or summer hit, like, would never talk to him.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, same with like dirt bike riding. When I kind of slowed down from dirt bike riding, I lost a lot of those guys. Like I mean, it's part of it. It's part of the development. They may not be hunters, so to say. So we're kind of gonna go like our separate ways and still kind of like what they do. I used to have a lot of friends that did like drugs recreationally, and I stopped hanging out with them. I was like, I just never done
mhm,
that. It's
yeah,
not my thing. So I have a small circle now. Kind of imbibing with more people. Like I hang out with a lot of influencers. Like one of my good buddies that I'm going to Arizona with to hunt this weekend. He's like a professional boxer. So I kind of still have those friends that are more into working out and stuff like that, and not so much the friends that just drink all the time, you know.
Yeah.
But also, I'll still go to a bar and hang out. I have no problem. Like I'm not like, oh, I need a beer. It's just I just choose not to drink.
Yeah.
But if anybody else wants to drink, I'm like, go ahead, dude. Don't bother me, none.
Yeah. I actually gave up beer. Was it 2 years ago? A year and a half? I forget exactly, but one day I just woke up and I was taking a walk with my wife around the neighborhood, and I was like, I don't feel optimal. When was the last time I felt my best self?
Mhm.
And that at that point, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm just I don't crave it. I don't. It's not any of that issue. It's just I want to feel good. Life is short. I don't want to regret days and or have days wasted because I'm not feeling my best. And so at that point, I was like, okay, there you go. I'm making a decision, and super glad I did. You realize like you know so many calories in beer. There's
Mhm.
all the stuff that's in processed foods nowadays is just it's all poison to your body, right? It's
Yeah.
all about eating clean and healthy and taking care of yourself. So that's good on you. Really proud of you. I love it. Um, Getting back to the hunting thing real quick, you said you like to hunt by yourself. I do not like hunting by myself. I found that I am more of a community based driven person, and I find every activity I do to be more fun when I'm doing it with others. You said you actually like to hunt solo, which I find truly fascinating. Um, Talk about the psychology of that. Like, what is it that you like going out alone versus hunting with other people?
Yeah, I feel it's probably gonna come back to the ego a little bit. Like I wanna be, it's my fault for messing up that day, like messing up that hunt. It's my fault, it's nobody else's. I would find myself hunting with people, like changing my plans, not hunting the way I want. If they're being lazy, I'm being a little lazy, but I just love to go in there and be like, I could die out here, right? Like hypothetically, it's me versus that animal. If something happens, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. But when I'm successful by myself, it's way more rewarding. The only thing it lacks, and it's always the most awful thing, is there's nobody to celebrate with. You're just like you're pumped, you're happy, and then you're just like,
Yeah.
cool. And then the pack out, you're just like, cool. I wish I had some help now.
Yeah.
Where's my phone a friend now? But I just love just me versus the one animal that I kind of find. Like me and my buddy Josh, we're going this weekend. He has a cow elk hunt, so I'll be hunting deer, and we're also scouting for cows for him. So he's good. But a lot of times is on the people I would bring too. Is it would just be always I'm doing the work. So they would ask, they would say, what tag should I apply for? And I would tell them. I would have to supply the gear, the food, the truck, the gas, and it was just kind of like I can't get this stuff together in the time for myself, let alone other people. So I just never really had the right crowd.
Mm.
But now that I'm finding more people in the hunting industry that are elevated athletes rather than just different people that just want to go hunt weekend warrior. Now that I'm finding like athletes that are like-minded like myself and want to potentially walk 17 miles like a crazy person, now I'm starting to hunt with little people. I shot a deer right in front of my uncle. He went hunt with me. He watched me through his binoculars arrow a deer, and that he was shaking more than I was, so like that stuff's cool. But he's older and he kind of was like, I'm done hiking and hunting. So yeah, now that I found kind of like a group and a couple people, I am finding some more group type hunts. But also, if you want to go that way and I'll go this way, I'll catch you at noon,
Yeah, right. I will say, so I used to snowboard a lot, and I used to go up after work and do night skiing, and I just do the same runs over and over, and I'd be by myself, and you listen to music and kind of get tired of listening to the same type of songs and same type of stuff. This is back before
Yeah.
podcasts were super popular and all that. And there's a lot of times I just kind of look around. I'd be sitting on that hillside, look around and be like, all right, well, I guess I'm done. Like, I've done my part. Now that's
Yeah.
different than hunting, right? When you have a goal in mind, you're like, I have a tag I need to fill. I need to be able to eat this winter, or I don't know. Are you married? Do you have children or anything like that?
No to both of those. I'm just
Yes.
yeah.
So you're out there just hammering away with yourself in mind, and I like that. A guy like me is like, okay, I need to make sure I fill some tags because my family needs to eat. I cooked 2 pounds of ground elk tonight for family of five, and I don't even have lunch tomorrow, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's gone.
yeah, going quick.
Yeah. And so we're just meat eaters, and we consume, and it's like, all right, well, then at the same time, I need to hone my craft. I need to be as good as possible, and at the same time, I need my children to start filling their tags.
Oh
And
yeah.
so this year is the first year where told the wife, I was like, I'm taking each boy out. And I have three boys. Two of them will be old enough to squeeze the trigger. We've been spending a lot of time at the gun range this summer. We've been
Nice.
shooting, and once rifle season starts, because I don't have a crossbow, and they could hunt crossbow during archery
Mm,
season, um, but I'm like, okay, well, just stick to the rifle.
yeah.
I told him, I was like, listen, guys, you can each shoot two does or a spike deer, spike buck on the lease. You need to fill your tags. And my oldest son is like, Dad, I don't know. I kind of just only want to shoot one deer. I go, I don't care. Not to make it like hunting needs to be fun for him. It doesn't need to be
Yeah.
a chore. I want to make sure I instill that. I go, but if you enjoy this meat that you're eating tonight, you need to do your part of contributing to the family, right?
Yeah, you gotta tell them like if you don't shoot two deer, you're doing all the dishes.
Yeah, right.
You know?
um, so I find when I actually moved to Texas, I started hunting by myself for the very first time, and I shot a couple years ago. I shot my very first. Let's see here, very first animal completely alone, and ironically, is that even counts birds or anything, because I always
Yeah,
had people with me, which is a part
yeah.
of what I want to do. And it was really fascinating that after I shot and I shot this buck at about 125 yards. I was filming it. It's an episode of Soul Seekers on Carbon TV. You can go watch it, but it didn't mule kick. Normally you shoot a deer, they mule kick. You're like, okay, I know I
Mhm.
got him. This deer I shot offhand. I was square on target when I squeezed the trigger, but it literally just ran, and
Wow.
I was like, did I hit it? And I was like, there's no one else here to like tell me, show eyes, be like, yes, I saw you had impact or
Yeah.
any of this. And so, and then I ended up trailing it, finding it, double lunged it, but this is a tough deer, just ran. And I was like, holy smokes, man. Like when you're dragging out a deer by yourself, big animal
Mm.
by yourself, dead weight is heavy, and it sure helps to have another set of hands. So all the people that hunt solo, I commend you for it, especially if it's an elk and you're getting down a big old elk and trying to handle that on a hillside. Woo-wee, I tell you.
Yeah, I got a deer this year. Ended up picking up a rifle. It was the last day. Shot him like 3 miles in. I think 11 o'clock after the whole ordeal that happened, and I didn't get him cleaned and packed. I had to make multiple trips because he was huge. I didn't get off the mountain until 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to make multiple trips, and just it was brutal, but it was fun. Like a week after, I was like, yeah, that was fun. I'm glad I worked that hard, kind of thing. But also, my buddy did hit me up, and he's like, hey, I'll drive up there right now. I'm like, I got it. I got plenty of daylight.
Yeah.
But how'd you feel when you shot it by yourself? You just, I mean, do you agree that you were just kind of bummed about not having somebody to celebrate it with?
Well, yeah, I was 50-50 because yes, I want to have other people to celebrate with. I believe in life needs to be celebrated, and it's more fun. A birthday party all by yourself is not as much fun as when you got friends there to celebrate with, or major accomplishments or milestones or whatever. So there was that crap. I really wish I had some people here to high five and that as soon as the hunt's over, retell the story. Oh man, as soon as I saw that deer and then I went tunnel vision and I couldn't hear anything else, or whatever the story is. I love the recap talks that always happen with other people. And I'm sure you get this when you guide, right? Like, oh, dude,
Yeah.
talking about the scenario. Well, that was what I missed. But with it being going kind of opposite spectrum of you is hunting with so many people and then hunting solo, it was like a monkey off my back. That
Mm.
that I was like, can I do this by myself? Can't because a lot of times, when you're hunting public land, big game, it's like, all right, uh, what do you think? Should we go over here? And you're constantly bouncing ideas off your hunting partners and collaborating. This was all me, all mine, all my decisions. I was blessed that a deer showed up where I was sitting and watching, and the rest is history. So there was that moment of like, okay, um, I'm doing this myself, all the way to gutting the animal, and not that at this point I've killed multiple animals, but I never broke down an animal by myself. That was
Yeah.
something that was really fascinating. I was like, oh, this takes a lot longer than when it's just one person.
Yeah. Your back starts hurting, like, golly.
Yeah, like, oh,
But
I'm
do you
old.
feel like it gave you a lot of confidence?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things, like, okay, I, and whether you're hunting with people or hunting solo, when you do that and you accomplish a hunt, you're like, okay, I can do this. And if I can do this, what else can I do? Right? Like okay, what else is out there? I want to go get after this.
Yeah, I think that's probably why I do it too, is just I like to suffer, I feel. I don't know. But well, on my hunt last year, I ended up taking my one of my buddies. He had a tag. I was like, you know what, come out for a couple days. I'm tired of hunting by myself. I was a little unmotivated. I wasn't seeing too many bucks. So he came out, kind of gave me a refresher. And then I ran into this guy named Marlon Holden on the mountain, and we, changed stories, hunted together for the day, and it kind of lit a fire under me. I was like, some that definitely changed my mood having those people around.
Yes.
Probably took off like some stress. I had one more day to hunt, and trading stories, laughing, all that good stuff. And then the next day, after Marlin left, I ended up shooting that deer. So it definitely gave me an uplift having people around, because being solo, you could get in your head a little bit. I wish I had some help on the bear hunt this week, because I could not figure those things out. I wish somebody would have said,
Yep.
let's just go a little higher, and I probably just would have went a little higher. But
Yeah.
it's definitely fun. So I'm really hopeful that me and Josh could get a deer down this weekend, and it would be his first one that
Yeah.
he's seen and stuff. So the reason I'm excited is the lesson I will be able to show him, since he has not to get a deer. Make him pack some meat out, and
I
show him
love it.
cut up stuff. So that's kind of what I'm more excited about. A deer, it'll be fun if it's a big one, but a deer is a deer, and it's going to be fun to teach him.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I will tell you, here's a little quick story for you. So back before I was a hunter, I used to work at REI, and everything was backpacking and,
Yeah.
everything related. And so I got to a point in my career where I didn't need to work a summer job. And when I mean a summer job, like, uh, I'm a school teacher by trade, and so I'm
Oh,
always working outside of teaching, whether it was coaching or working at REI or being a DJ. And so DJing really supplemented me, and so I didn't have to go work a retail store job or anything like that. Well, all my other friends were working during the summer. I was like, dude, I want to go backpacking, and I never backpacked by myself. And I hiked all the way in to this lake, and I was fishing, and I set up my tent, and this is in the state of Washington, so it's kind of wet and damp, and
mm,
you know I could have campfires, which is super rare in the state of Washington. They regulate that so much, but I get up there and I'm like, okay, I'm fishing, I'm enjoying the solitude, the quietness, the stillness. It's some dude uh, with like two other people comes up to the lake, and start spreading ashes of their loved one like all around my campsite.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, I feel a little creeped out. Now, at this time, I wouldn't say I was mature enough to like really handle my mental game in that regard. Still, if that
Yeah.
happened today, I still feel like there's a little woo woo spiritualness to it that I don't know if I would still camp where someone's dumping ashes, or let
Yeah.
alone I would not dump ashes where someone's camping. Also, just
Yeah. So that's a little weird.
yeah,
Don't mind us.
yeah, it was a little weird. Anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, well, I'm catching fish, but just releasing them. I wasn't really planning on cooking any fish up. I'm like, let's go start a fire. And I couldn't get a fire started, and I couldn't get a fire started, and I couldn't get a fire started. And I'm like, I'm literally out in the woods, just waiting to go to bed right now.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, I feel a little creeped out with the ashes spread around, and all of a sudden, I'm sitting there on a stump or a log or whatever, and this giant rabbit like comes out of nowhere right in front of me, and it just I know it's a rabbit, but think like Monty Python. This monster.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Um,
Giant.
yeah, the giant fangs and
Yeah.
it just like everything about it wigged me out, and I was like, I'm waking up. I'm going to sleep just to wake up and hike out of here. I was like, I'm just
Yeah.
grabbing my stuff and I'm leaving. And that was one of my moments where it's like, okay, this is why I don't enjoy it solo as much. Now, granted, I wasn't hunting, right? I didn't have that purpose of like, this is what I need to stay out to go for this. That was one of those situations where I was like, I just enjoy doing things with people more. Now, when it comes to the difficulty of a hunt and staying mentally in the game, one of the best things that you can do is have a great hunting partner that lifts your spirits. How do you counteract the head game that goes with hunting solo when you start to get into the trying times of not seeing animals or things not going the way you want them to? What do you do for yourself?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I had a This year was probably my worst year. Mentally, I would just climb this mountain, glass for the deer, hopefully that see if that buck's gonna show up and he wouldn't show up. And then I would continue the same thing. Same thing when it happened. Same thing. It just kept happening. So it mentally was draining. I finally just ended up getting just unmotivated. But the best thing I typically do is I'll spark a conversation, hopefully hoping I have a cell service, and I'll kind of hit up my group. And I vibe a lot with people elsewhere. People say that I'm geographically unavailable. By living in SoCal, I'm not around a lot of the same like-minded people that are
Hmm.
passionate about things. So, you know, I'll text Eric from Muley Freak, Aaron, I'll text Marlin, Gray Light Hunter, just, shoot them a text and they'll kind of be my hunting buddies, but elsewhere. They'll be like, "Oh, you got it, man. Keep working, keep working hard." Aaron always says, "What's up, stud?" And it's just like, hey, that's a little boost. So those like-minded people, I'll kind of reach out to them, like subtly, just, hey, what's up? Like, I'm bored. And that'll kind of, give me the confidence. And I'll just be like, I am a stud. Let me go try to see what happens. So I kind of reflect in that. And also just realizing the goal is to, potentially find that deer or elk and attempt to get a stalk in. And I'm happy if I'm able to even get a stalk in, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for. If I harvest a deer, obviously that's the bonus on top, but if I could get a stalk in, find a deer, that kind of gives me the confidence. So you got to work hard to keep getting the confidence to continue to work hard. That's kind of my best thing. Is if I get lazy, yeah, it just can't let it happen.
Yeah, yeah, you got to stay sharp. A dull knife is worthless, right? What do you, being somebody who got into hunting, and you already mentioned you like to hang out with like the hunting influencers and stuff like that. What do you think of the social media aspect of hunting?
Oh, it's funny. Like, so people say it's negative, right? It's everything is going to be your perspective on it. There's a lot of people like right now I deal with there's certain people in my life that are just so negative. So I kind of stay away from them because I know they're going to complain about work and this and this and this. And I know that's me kind of complaining about them complaining. But I just kind of stay away from those people. The influencers I usually hang out with aren't even in the hunting industry. They're more, TikTokers, YouTubers, like science people, stuff like that. But the social media stuff is really good. I mean, obviously, I love making videos. I don't get a lot of views on them, but my little skit comedy is like, I absolutely love it in its own entity. For people to, the thing social media I hate the worst is everybody thinks they're either an internet game warden or they're allowed to, justify other people's hunts and say like bad things about it. That's the worst thing about social media. I hate how, you know, if it's a little deer and a guy kills a little deer, he has to specify why,
Mm,
right? He shoots a little forky and he has to go on this big old jaunt on, you know, I just really wanted the meat for my family. It's like you don't have to explain that to anybody on social media. If you want to shoot a forky, shoot a forky. If you want to shoot a giant, shoot a giant. When I shot my big buck this year, I my caption was usually I shoot big deer, but this is just a meat buck. And it wasn't me being cocky. It was me like reiterating that you don't have to explain anything to anybody. If
hmm.
that's the deer you want to shoot, let them shoot it.
Yeah.
And it's also these guys that think they're, internet game wardens to where like, oh, you shouldn't have been hunting like that and stuff. That's the worst part about social media. The fact that guys are promoting like big deer, they're taking like great photos. I love it. I love to see people fulfilling their dream and working hard, stuff like that.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the internet trolls, social media would be a great thing. But I just hate the fact that people are just haters for no reason. Like just haters. Like people hate on me, and I'm like, dude, I'm just cool. I just work hard, man. Like I hunt by myself, and people hate on me, and I just don't get that why people hate on it so much. And it really comes down to social media is creating jealous people. I did a video about Cameron Haynes. I got 250,000 views on Instagram, and everybody's just like, "Oh, he sucks because he just hunts private land." Or I'm like, bro, do you don't know how many public land hunts he's probably been on? Like, I didn't comment back to a lot of those guys. But I'm like, you're just hating on guy because you're jealous. Like he worked way harder than you, and then it ended up being like on the San Carlos, he shot the bull, and people are like, yeah, that's just because he was on private. And I was like, yeah, man, the arrow flies way better straighter when it's on private, you know?
Right.
So that fact about social media, they could lose that part.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to brag about working hard, it's good for anything, moto, hiking, freaking, dancing, who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as that, like I love to see people successful. Even if I don't know you and I see you like we're able to get down an elk, like I'm gonna like it just because I'm happy that I know how much work it went into. People that don't like other people's photos of success aren't out there working knowing what work that guy probably put into it.
Yeah.
Private or public, you know?
That's a great perspective right there. President Teddy Roosevelt, he says comparison is the thief of joy,
Yeah.
right? And so jealousy is a nasty thing, and it's a poison. It spreads very quickly.
Yeah. I just don't know why people get like so jealous and it's got to just be, in my opinion, no offense to people if this isn't it, but if you're jealous of somebody, it's because you are not working hard. All the my big group that will congratulate me, will shoot me texts. I have a group I send, the harvest photo to. They call me right away, like
Mm,
they're popular people in the hunting industry. They're all just like so happy for me. But there is people that will see me successful and just not liking on purpose because they're probably sitting at home not working as hard as me. And I always tell people, I go, I'm not a good hunter. I'll just work harder than you because I'm gonna go until I either can't or I'm gonna be successful. So it's just the jealousy thing is the worst part about social media.
yeah. What if you were to meet somebody who has not hunted today? What would you say to them to persuade, encourage, or whatever to give it a shot?
Well, I'm definitely gonna tell them to watch videos. They got to get their mind right. The biggest thing I've had with people is they go, I don't know if I could kill a deer. And I'll tell you, and I'll tell them, I go, if you chase this a deer for 15 days straight, you're gonna want to kill that thing because you're mad at it. Like not in a like a mad way, but like you were so invested in it, like you're gonna want to harvest it, and it's gonna be emotional. Like we're always sad when an animal is harvested, but also the feeling of like, oh my god, like I am way better than I thought I was. Like people have to get their mindset right that they could even like harvest an animal, and then they just have to study, like I did. I did video after video after video and books and study the regs. Like my one buddy was leaving town this last weekend because he didn't know bear season opened up the whole state of California. And I was like, bro, you have to study the regs. I tell you this every year. Like he applies for a deer hunt that is impossible to draw unless you have max points, and it's still like a 4% chance. And I was like, bro, stop applying for that. You're never gonna draw it. So you have to study like the regs, like everything. Talk to your local game wardens, call your biologists, like ask your biologist, like, what are these, what are the deer eating? Like you have to get as much info and knowledge as you can. And
Hmm.
it's hard because you're not gonna geek out on it not knowing about it. So the best thing people could do is if somebody will take you on a hunt, like tag along and just kind of see what it is. Like, oh wow, we went 12 days and we haven't even seen a shooter buck. You
Hmm.
have to kind of tag along and see what it's about. You're not going to just drive around and shoot a buck. I mean, people do it. I can't seem to figure out that tactic, but I have to work really hard for it. But
Yeah.
definitely, you know, and I tell people all the time, I'll post on my story, like, I just posted today. I was like, this is the bow case I'm taking to Iowa and Maryland this year. If you guys want the link, send it to me. I post all that stuff. Hey, hunting tags are coming up. If you guys have any questions on, zones, like stuff like this, some people will hit me up and I'll answer questions, but they have to, find the people that are like minded
Hmm.
and, go to that. I hosted some of the full draw film tour. And we're like not selling out some seats, and then people, I'll be like, hey, did you full draw film tour? And they're like, oh, we didn't even know it was in town. But just people aren't like mentally diving in. So if you think you're like super 100% passionate, want to do it, you have to be contacting people, go to archery events, like fine, everybody's going to know somebody that hunts, like, oh yeah, my brother-in-law hunts, or
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
you tell your best friend Carol or whatever, hey, I want to hunt, oh, my uncle hunts, let me give you his number.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
ask too many questions.
Just get out of your comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
Like go into the unknown. That's the whole point of hunting, is going into the unknown with the hopes that there's something better on the other side for you.
Yeah, it's definitely uncomfortable out there sometimes. It's, we were bow hunting one time, it was like 114, and it was, my buddy quit. He said, I'm not doing it. So it's definitely uncomfortable, especially, and people are so scared to fail. They're like, oh, I don't know if I want to hunt because I think I'm going to fail. I'm not going to be good at it.
Yeah.
Well, you're probably not good at some of the things you do now anyways, but you're just consistent in it. So if you go hunting, be consistent in it, you're gonna get good at it. Don't be scared to fail. We fail. Like I've missed animals. Like it's part of it. It's just as fun to tell the story of missing that it is, being successful. That whole, it's the adventure. Don't think of it. The killing is 1%. The adventure is what you live for. This, you're sitting on top of the mountain, cool breeze, the sun's coming up, or elk walking out there. You are not getting that unless you're out there.
Yeah. 100%. What would you say hunting has done for you?
It's done a lot. Like it's it's crazy how it changed my life. Like I always have this, me and my ex girlfriend, we broke up, and I didn't know how I was like mentally going to process it because I didn't know like what was going on. So I went on a 12-mile hike, shed hunting,
Hmm.
and by the time I got done with that hike, I was able to analyze that whole relationship, figure out where I was wrong, where she was wrong, and I got back and I was perfectly content with it.
Yeah.
There's something like mentally, it just made me like so much stronger. It's probably the reason I quit drinking. It's probably the reason I have better relationships. It's probably it taught me more about myself and what I was capable of. That it was way more than I thought I could like personally do. I
Yeah.
thought, man, I'm not very like, talkative. I'm not so, but just the fact that confidence builder of working hard and being successful or even not successful, but at least getting opportunities, it just made me way more confident. And obviously, the hunting industry, I love everybody in it except for like two people. I love everybody in the hunting industry like they're my people, you know? They're just my like you could talk to any hunter and they're usually pretty cool, except for two people. But yeah, other than that, it's just like this is the world I was supposed to be in, you know?
Yeah. It's a way to provide purpose, right? Like too many people feel like they don't have purpose in this life. And hunting is a conduit for a better life through getting out and experiencing it. And so I love that. Matt,
Yeah,
thanks.
but hunting might not even be the purpose, but hunting is going to be the segue to find your purpose. Like you have to dive deep into yourself and learn about what you're capable of. And then your purpose may be something you never even thought of, but hunting will help you find out who you really are.
Absolutely, 100%. I love it. Well, Matt, thanks for coming on the show, brother. Thanks for sharing your stories, your insight, and your experiences. It's really awesome to meet somebody else who has not been at this for very long, but has found an absolute passion for it. Good luck on your hunts this coming year. Did you draw any special tags that you're super stoked for?
I'm guiding all year. I have like no special tags. I am going to Maryland to hunt Sika deer and whitetails, and the property has 170-inch whitetails on there. So I'm hoping one just walks in front of me. I hope, but that's my two hunts I'm really looking forward to. And then I got a couple little, weekenders I can mix in between guiding season. But what about you? Anything good?
Man, I was originally thinking about going up to Kansas, but that fell through on my plans. But right now, I got some bucks rolling through on some game cameras that I'm I'm really deciding like, do I want to chase a buck? This sounds kind of weird. In Texas, so I live in Texas.
Yeah.
Deer season opens at the end of September and goes through middle of January in my unit, and you only get one buck for my area, a
Mm.
spike, and then two does. So I'm like, okay, last year I shot my buck in archery season, and then I was doe hunting pretty much the rest of the time. I was like,
Hmm.
I don't know, I kind of want to shoot a buck with a rifle, but then that means I'm doe hunting just archery. So I'm still in the middle of like trying to identify what I want my hunt to be like this coming year.
Well, dude, I think you're gonna get something, and when you do, I'm gonna like it. I'm not gonna be a hater like all these other people, but I'm excited just to see you be successful, man. I think you're gonna get all four of them tags filled, and hopefully, I could fill one. If not, my clients will, and I'll be just as happy.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. How do if people want to hook up with you to for you to guide them? How do they connect with you?
So I go through outfitters. I just signed up with a new outfitter in Arizona. We go just for 1 week. I'm going. I can't say his name because we're chasing like a 420-inch bull. So if I say his name, people will know where it's at. And then next year, I'm be in New Mexico for 2 months. I'll be guiding out there. And then this year, I'm guiding in Montana. But the best way to keep track of all that is social media, all that TikTok, IMDb, all my movie stuff. And it's just my name, Mattrege, no underscores, no periods, just my full name. Best thing, if you guys have questions, hit me up on Instagram. I love to help people. And any of my experiences, like I do a charity hunt in March. I take 15 to 20 guys javelina hunting to raise money for charity. So I post that on there, kind of some hunting opportunities here. And, I post a lot of my buddies' landowner tags are selling. So that's kind of the best way to kind of find what I'm up to. It changes every week. So kind of best
There,
things, social media.
there you go. I love it. I love it. Well, brother, be blessed. Good luck on your adventures, and look forward to connecting with you in hopefully Salt Lake City this coming Hunt Expo if you'll be there.
Yeah, I'll be there every year. That's my favorite place. I will always always be there. I might be living there. Somebody sent me $10, like we were talking before.
There you go, right? All right, guys, go follow Matt on Instagram and all the social platforms, and thank you so much. Remember that hunting has the power to transform lives through primal adventure, and that you can never outgive good, as mentorship is conservation. I'm Johnny Mack for Matt Rege and myself. Be blessed, freedom on, and as always, stay soulful.
If you enjoyed today's podcast and want to support the show, you can always like, share, subscribe, and leave a rating, as it helps us share our mission of mentorship as conservation. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of Soul Seekers Nation as we transform lives through primal adventure.